What's up, y'all? This is Jamar Riley with Comedy Through Comedy Magazine, local New Orleans comedian, and I'm here with another local New Orleans comedian, Mr. Frank White. What's up, Frank?
Cool.
Good,
How you feel? How you feel?
What's good, man?
I'm good.
I see you, man. First thing I wanted to ask you, Frank, is when did you start get started doing comedy, and what made you say I want to do comedy?
I started about 2.5 years now.
Okay.
I got pushed into it by friends and family. Actually, one of my cousins threw a big event, and he gave me a month to prepare. He told me that I was going on stage whether I like it or not.
Okay.
And I did a show with Howard Hall a month after that, and I did a good job, and I never turned around since.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what. Now you saying you were pushed? That was, the family and friends.
Yeah, and that had been happening for years. Being pushed, and I kept denying. I wanted to do everything but that.
Okay.
But it just, when it's for you, it's for you.
And that's what it is. It is what it is. That's how it be, man. Family want to push into it. Now, I don't know if people know, bro, but you're a ribbon specialist, bro. You when it comes down to ribbon people, and that means talking about people, you do it better than anybody I've ever seen, especially coming off the top of the dome. How did you get that creative with it and that good with it?
Well, growing up in Orleans public schools.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just being friends and family, and my family. My family big on just clowning and joking and always just a fun family. We're gonna talk about each other. It's all in fun and games.
Okay.
But especially in school, I can remember as young as 5th grade being embarrassed, and that's how it really started for me.
That's how I really started being embarrassed.
Yeah.
You got an incident you want to tell us about? Yeah. I feel like you got something on your chest, man.
I can recall vividly in the 5th grade, I started school late, and my mom brought me to school.
Okay.
And the class I was in, if y'all grew up in Orleans public schools, y'all know we had combination classes.
Oh yeah.
And I was in a 5th, 6th, and 7th combination class. Now you put 3 fucking classes together, I don't know. Excuse me.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Hey,
but anyway,
it's exclusive interview.
Anyway,
you what you want.
I went in this class, and my mom went out and talked to the teacher. And 7th grader that obviously ran the tip, he ran the class. He decided to single me out and tell me to raise up my arm, raise my hand. And I raised it up, and I didn't know what he was talking about. And then he pointed and said, boy, your shirt young. And the whole class bust out laughing. I thought it was because my shirt was new. And I found out it was because it was tight and small. So, yeah.
I feel. That's that's how it be, man. That's how it be.
And I bust his ass for the rest of the year too. I ripped him till he cried.
Yes. 7th grader. You got it.
Yeah, I got it. I got his mind together.
If he watching this, you got it.
I got you.
He gave it to you.
I gave you the business. You know who I am. Come to the show and sit in the front row for me.
Here you go. So you get him again.
So I get him again.
I feel you on that, bro. Now, being ribbon and comedy and doing, actually on stage is 2 different things.
Big total difference.
And it seems like to me you master both. You can rib on the spot, but you can also translate that into the comedy. And how do you kind of separate the 2, and how do you kind of stay great at both, being able to rib and being able to do comedy?
Ribbon now, both of them kind of, when it's just basically in you.
Okay.
But you gotta work at comedy 10 times more. You gotta actually study. You gotta actually prepare sets. You have to study the craft so far as knowing how to let people laugh.
Okay.
I had to figure that out. Not to run on my joke and run-ons, and to end on a powerful note. It's just a lot of things. And then not to freeze up. You're the only one talking on stage at the time. It's a real challenge. And you got to be dedicated. You're gonna get crickets. You're gonna get booed. You're gonna have all that. So you just try to have it as less as possible, and hopefully after you get it once, you never get it again.
Exactly. And that's out there. That's for the young comedians out there that's trying to do it, man.
Yeah.
You out here doing it. You out here getting it, bro. You on stage, getting it every other night or every night, and I be seeing you on stage, bro. It'd be hard. You do a real good job when on stage. I know. I'd be like, I'll be warming the crowd up for you sometimes.
Man,
and it's just like, I know when Frank getting on stage, I know when you get on stage, it's about to go down. Let's talk about some of your jokes, because I have a couple jokes that, of yours that I really, really like, and, kind of get the origin of the jokes. Like, I like that joke that you tell with your mom, being like the heavyweight fighter of ass.
Right.
Is that seems like to me that's based off true stories. How did that joke come about? Made you say I want to tell it on stage?
It started from actually clowning with my mom.
Okay.
And telling her that I would put her in my show, and I told her what I would talk about, and she told me I bet not. And me being the rebellious child that I've always been,
okay.
I came up with the joke and did it, and it comes from real life. but also, you know, you add in that funny flavor of things, such as her having a picture of my sister and her crying and showing it off and saying, "Oh, bitch, you eat speed." So that's just and it's my mom, but it's also stretched a big portion.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I mean,
it's a crowd favorite.
It's definitely. I'm gonna go to one of my crowd favorites, and my wife's crowd, favorite. The joke that you do with DJ.
Right.
DJ joke,
right.
I mean, that thing hit every time you tell it, bro. It's just like brand new. Like, what made you dissect that? And be like, this is because it really happens in the streets, like with DJs. And
I think that came from just talking randomly with a couple partners.
Okay.
And it came up like that, being that we was talking about instigators.
Okay.
And I brought up that the DJs are instigators, and they were kind of like how they was lost, like how they instigators, and I gave them the reason. They play the songs that get the crowd amped up, and as soon as some shit pop off, they act like they didn't have anything to fucking do with it.
Exactly.
And they're the ones that won't play the slow music and remind you that NOPD is here and all that shit.
Exactly.
When they're the ones that told you to do it. That's like your friend handed you the gun, and then after you kill somebody, say, "Man, you shouldn't have did that shit. That was crazy. I never would have did that." So,
I feel you. I mean, and it is. That's how it is. And like with your comedy, like your punchlines, bro, your punchlines can be so random and just come out of nowhere. And people, and I mean, it'd be like, dang, how he thought about it. It make me, sometimes as comedians look like and be like, man, I wish I'd have thought of that.
And I think that's where the ribbon aspect comes from. Thinking quick on your feet. Exactly. I mean, because when you're on that stage, it could be you can be actually killing the show, and you give them a chance to breathe for a second sometime, and you lose your rhythm. So I mean, you might hear me tell a mama joke, but you heard it 4 weeks ago, and it's totally different.
Exactly.
And it's like it's just you got your basis, but you let that quickness and that element, and you feed off the crowd. And if you're naturally funny on your feet, then you can ad-lib a whole lot more.
Exactly, especially with ad-libbing. Like a lot of people don't know, like that just comes with the feel of the crowd, comes with time, and it comes with and you definitely from watching you with ad-libbing, you kind of do that. You really good with it. Like especially like I've seen you, if you had to come off your joke and deal with somebody in the crowd. You don't mind dealing with them in the crowd. You're not you come at them, and I mean, I perform with you. Sometimes I be like, I'm from Cross Canal, and I be like, this dude here, man. But you always make light of it, and you can flip it to where the person that you're talking about can laugh at themselves, as uptight as they may be.
Right.
But I mean, what does it go with, like when you going into like, say you getting, like I went to some instances where you dealing with somebody in the crowd, like, what is going through your mind when you're like, okay, how am I handling this?
Well, you try to analyze that person.
Okay.
So far as, are they drunk? Are they trying to be an asshole? Are they having too much of a good time?
Okay.
How to settle this person down? Are they rambunctious to the point where they're going to want to attack you?
Okay.
You try to, and I give big thanks to my dad, who's a psychologist and plays with the mind all the time. So, it became second nature to analyze a person. So at the same time as I'm settling the crowd and giving the crowd what they want by entertaining, I'm also letting you know it's time to calm down. Let me get back to it. And it gets frustrating because sometimes you got to jab, and they can maybe throw your mindset off of your regular set.
But that's where ad-libbing comes in.
That's when that comes in. So I've been fortunate enough to where I haven't had anybody to rush me off stage or really heckle me. I mean, it might be just a laugh too much. Though I want to be seen. I want to interact within the show. So I haven't got heckled I've never been heckled with booze. I haven't ran across that to know how to deal with that, if ever, which I hope that never fucking happens. Because we all comedy goons. We come from another place first. So,
exactly.
But,
So, and that is, that's what it is, bro. And I mean, I rarely see people deal with it as well as you do, especially as far as comedians. And I know with being on the stage and telling jokes, sometimes I'd be like, it'd be hard for me to ad-lib, but it's got to come. And that's a part of growing as a comedian. Like the ad-lib, and the more you perform, the better your ad-libbing gets, the funnier you get. It's just like working a muscle. Like lifting weights. You lift weights, you get stronger.
Exactly.
At the grab, especially if you got a little spark there. Like you got a little spark, bro. You're a little bit funny. If you can, you can get into it and get flowing with it. It goes well, So
and your work ethic.
Exactly.
Your work ethic, getting shows out of time. I mean, not being ashamed of taking free shows in the beginning. I mean, you gotta do free shows. There's no way. I mean, I hear guys and they frown up at free shows. They're doing open mics, and I'm like, dude, this is free opportunity not only to promote yourself, but as well as get some practice in. I mean, so when you do get these shows that's paid and you get to be a part of the comedy explosion, or you get to be on the show with Jay, or you know
the interview. Niggas found up at a free interview.
Right.
No money,
you know what I mean? Then
free. You still reshooting this shit at real talk.
You gotta grind.
You gotta grind. It's a small sacrifice for the bigger picture,
Right.
And with bringing up the bigger picture, I want to bring up the bigger picture with you because you're a very talented person. A lot of people don't know. I think you, as far as acting, you're pretty good. Like,
I appreciate that.
Like, because I've done sketch shows with you and stuff. So where do you want to take this comedy thing? You want to just do comedy, or you want to transition into acting?
Of course. My big goal would be to do it all.
Okay.
To do acting as well as comedy. I would never want to give up the stage. But
I would. Sure.
But of course, I want to be in movies. I would like to star in movies. I mean, sky's the limit so far as that. I look at somebody that really embodied that was Jamie Foxx.
Okay.
Also, favorite comedian would be like someone like Martin.
Yeah, for sure.
Not even, but King Eddie Murphy.
Exactly.
So
they embodied
they embodied it all. So I try to basically categorize myself around that and go after similar things like them, and that's more of my hopes and my dreams with it. To be on that level, as well as stage plays. That's another thing.
Exactly. I mean, just broaden the scope, and I think you can do it, bro. I've seen you, like, especially with some of the New Orleans roles, people have asked you to, now it might be a little bit easier because you're from New Orleans, but you just, whether it's a New Orleans woman, New Orleans female, New Orleans male, it's New Orleans gay dude. I mean, you hit it all, bro. I mean, you there with it. So, like, what kind of roles are you looking at?
I'm pretty much open
to any role.
To any role to an extent. I wouldn't anything that's demeaning. I mean, I would have, because a role can be of large variety.
Okay.
Not necessarily putting a character. It's just a large variety. So I'd have to. So far as on a bigger scale, there's not anything that I would take. Even at this level, it's not just an anything factor of being at hungry. It's about really getting something that fits you, something that you can work with, and that you can roll with. Because you want especially on the come out to a big stage, you want it to be the best of you. So people get the best of you and not the middle class, the worst of you or anything like that to be pushed. For your break. And
I'm glad you brought that up, bro. I'm glad you brought up. You won't, if it's a demeaning role, you won't take it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think about some comedians that, some people that say, I'll take anything, especially any role, whether it be a role that may be demeaning to, a specific culture or to a specific race. How do you feel about,
I try not to judge as much as possible. But as far as that, I mean, it works for some. It does work for some. I mean, it depends on what's the meaning to that person.
Exactly.
What's their level of, so maybe it just hadn't reached that level for them.
I
mean, wearing a dress might not be demeaning. Sucking a dick, now that's demeaning. So I mean, it's hard to me. Sucking a dick in a dress is both on the same playing field right now. But, you know what I mean? So that's
I feel you too. Yeah, bro. I mean, that's good to know, man, because a lot of people don't really understand, what it is to get out here and do that, and what it is to get out here and you kind of wear, multiple hats.
Right.
When it comes down to that. Well, another question I want to ask you, as far as like, what do you have to say, as far as the other comedians out? Because I view you as somebody that's really, that's growing in the comedy game and becoming more established and becoming well known, especially around the city of New Orleans.
Right.
What do you have for other comedians out there that kind of motivate them? Because a lot of people don't understand this comedy stuff is hard,
man.
It's hard, bro. Especially if you have a hard night. You can have a good night one night, come back to that same venue, tell the same jokes, have a bad night the next night. So what do you got like for the new comedians out there, bro? That's out here trying to do it.
Work hard, grind. Never stop writing jokes, but try to perform. Try to figure out your bangers and perfect them, and just try to perfect your joke. Your joke is never over. Your joke is never finished. When you come up with that topic and you only write 4 lines, you got to think about it like this. If you're really in it forever, because I'm in it forever. This is what I do, and this is me. So I'm in it forever. If you really in it forever, that joke that you wrote in 2011 that was 4 lines, by 2015 you got a whole 15 minutes on that topic.
Yeah.
Because the joke, you done played with it, you done mixed it, you done twisted it up, and it's about growth. I mean, there's no such thing as an old comedian. If you're going to be a comedian, there's no such thing. No such thing as an old actor. No such thing as an old comedian. There's people that's gonna love you or hate you. So be you, be true to yourself, and grind hard. Grind hard. And if you love it, it shouldn't be hard to grind.
That's what's up, man. Right. You know what, y'all? I want to thank you, Frank White, for this exclusive.
Man, thank you, man. Thank you, man.
Bro.
Appreciate
my
you,
brother,
man.
somebody I perform with on a daily basis, y'all. This is Jamal Riley with Comedy Through Comedy. This is Frank White, one of the hottest comedians in the city right now, making a come up and doing this thing.
Holla, man. You was giggled out. What was funny?